Good afternoon, Mr. Marks.
Good
Marks.
afternoon.
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Richard Edward Marks.
Where do you work?
I work at my own law firm, Richard Marks and Associates. It is a transactional entertainment law firm, and we represent individuals, writers, directors, actors, books, but authors. But mainly we represent producers who are developing a product, if you will, to be produced and then exploited on television, features, streaming, things like that. What I do is make deals. They're transactions. I'm a deal guy. So my whole practice, all these decades, has been about getting to yes. How do you make a deal? And then how do you get it documented so people sign it and then are able, it's clear enough that it can be administered and people can know what to do after you've made the deal.
Mr. Marks, what work were you asked to do in this case?
I was asked to bring my years of experience in the entertainment industry and look at the damage that the op-ed of 2018 created in Johnny Depp's career and his life and his reputation.
What work did you do to determine whether Mr. Depp's reputation had been damaged by the op-ed?
Well, again, I view the op-ed and the fallout through almost 50 years in the business. And what I did was I read the pleadings in the case, the deposition transcripts, the articles, the pleadings, all of the paperwork in this case, which is voluminous.
Based on the analysis you've done and your expertise in the entertainment industry, have you formed any opinions in this case?
Yes.
What, generally speaking, what is your opinion?
My general opinion is that the op-ed damaged Mr. Depp, created a cancel situation, if you will, harmed his reputation and his ability to get work in Hollywood industry.
Objection. Boom.
Yes.
There it is.
I thought, could we approach?
Sure.
There it is.
What types of things do companies consider when they're looking at using actors in their marketing or advertising?
Well, as you can imagine, they consider reputation. This is a capitalist society, and they're looking to make money. They want to add value to their investment. They want actors who have reputations that will bring eyeballs to the screen, bodies in the seats. They're looking for added value, not negativity.
What's the significance of the actor in the starring role in the context of a feature film?
The actor in the starring role becomes the face of the film, the product, the series. That actor is synonymous with the product. And again, in hiring that actor or actress, you want a reputation that supports the value that you've spent on creating the product. You might say that Pirates of the Caribbean is Johnny Depp and vice versa. That's this importance of hiring a star.
What aspects of an actor's reputation might impact their ability to get hired by brands or studios?
Well, again, on the other side of the coin, you wouldn't want to hire an actor who has negativity following them. You wouldn't want to pay to actually bring your brand down, your movie. And so that's very important, and especially in the last 5 years with the Me Too movement, you wouldn't want negativity hiring an actor who, quote unquote, had been canceled.
Is there anything in particular that might prevent an actor from getting hired by a brand or a studio?
Well, I mean, we're talking about illegal activity, a criminal record, but right now,
Oh.
the pinnacle of negativity in
Oh.
Hollywood is being accused of domestic abuse, sexual abuse, violence. And what we've seen is almost immediately terminations and cancellations for the investors, to the people who create that product, to move away from that negativity.
Boom. There
I
it
think you
is.
mentioned the Me Too movement. What impact has the Me Too movement had on how Hollywood conducts business?
It, in my many decades in the business, Hollywood has changed and morphed, but never as quickly as to respond to the Me Too movement that started in 2017. When I started in the business, every contract for an actor or someone involved in a movie had a morals clause that you did certain things and you could be fired for it. They wanted to protect their brand. Before the Me Too movement, that morals clause was fading out. People with leverage, people said, wait a second, you just can't get rid of us because you think this or that. With the Me Too movement, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, if you will, the morals clause has come back, and it is a demanded feature in every entertainment employment agreement, because the studios want that verbiage. They want those rights so that they can act quickly and decisively when there is a claim.
Mr. Marks, do you have any experience working on a project where an actor was accused of domestic abuse or sexual violence?
Yes,
What was that experience?
I did some of the production legal work on a film called
Now you know why Me Too came back or came
All
out
the
at
Money
all.
in the World. It was about the life of the Gettys, J. Paul Getty. And J. Paul Getty was played by Kevin Spacey. He acted in the part, he finished his role, he was paid, and then these Me Too accusations came out. And immediately, my client, in conjunction with Sony, they made a decision to take him out of the movie. And Christopher Plummer was hired. They reshot all his scenes and seamlessly cut them in to the movie. And if you see All the Money in the World, you won't know that Kevin Spacey was ever in it.
This guy better watch
So I
out.
had that personal experience. And then coincidentally, when that happened,
People who talk about
I was
Spacey end
also
up dead.
doing work for MRC, which produces House of Cards, and a very successful series. And he was the star of it. And he was immediately cut out, and everything was redone to get rid of the notion that Hollywood would support an abuser after the Me Too movement. And then because I was in the mix of all of it, I also know that Kevin Spacey had completed another movie for Netflix. And unlike All the Money in the World, they couldn't reshoot it. And it sits on the shelf, a movie about Gore Vidal that was finished but has never seen the light of day. They want anyone removed so that they can get a return on their investment in our society, so that they are not seen as being in the old generation where women were not given the benefit of the doubt, where victims were not given the benefit of the doubt. And a switch has been turned, and certainly by 2017.
Mr. Marks, are you familiar with the op-ed Ms. Heard published in the Washington Post on December 18th, 2018?
Yes,
What's your understanding of how that op-ed was received in Hollywood?
that op-ed for the first time is in a mainstream publication called the Washington Post. This is a flagship journal, if you will, of American news. We're not talking about a trade paper. We're not talking about a rag. We're talking about the Washington Post. And it is geared to Hollywood. It says,
There it is.
2 years ago, when I was getting my divorce, Amber Heard is saying, I was the abuser, and you didn't, Hollywood, you stood up for my abuser, not for
Objection,
me,
Your
the
Honor.
victim.
Objection.
Said this from the
He's
start.
characterizing the document.
I think he's expressing his understanding of how that was
I'll
perceived.
overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's there to characterize the
What I'm
document.
saying is Hollywood got
This is
the
devastating.
the subject matter of the op-ed loud and clear. Amber Heard was calling out Hollywood for supporting since 2016, supporting her abuser, and she felt the wrath of Hollywood. She was calling them out to do something in the Washington Post, and on the eve of her biggest film, a big film for Hollywood. The publicity machine was in high gear. There was lots of publicity and news out there. This was the height of her fame, and she used it at that moment to call Hollywood out. They, in my opinion, as a member of Hollywood, they heard that plea loud and clear, and it also got her publicity for her movie. I don't think that in my perception, and people in Hollywood didn't see that as a coincidence, that date. So yeah, in Hollywood, I think the message was received that she was sending.
Do you have an opinion about the impact of the publication of the op-ed on Mr. Depp's reputation in Hollywood?
It's devastating. It's the type of claim, the Me Too claim of sexual violence, domestic abuse, that has canceled a list of actors. Chris Noth recently. I just read something about Frank Langella. We know newscasters, Les Moonves, head of CBS. Now Johnny Depp is in their ranks. It's devastating.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
All right, cross-examination, Mr. Nadelhoff.
Boom. How are you going to rehab that one on cross,
afternoon.
guys?
And you don't know one way or the other whether Mr. Depp will be in Pirates of Caribbean 6. You don't have a crystal ball, is that right?
Objection, speculation.
He's an expert.
Allow it. Go ahead, overruled. Go ahead, you can answer, sir.
Well, as an expert, of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but as an expert, I think Disney will do everything possible to try to put him back in Pirates, but not under this cloud.
Okay. You agree that there was negative publicity about Mr. Depp before the op-ed, correct?
Yes.
You know that Ms. Heard made her accusations public starting in May of 2016, right?
Yes.
And Hollywood knew about that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Depp
Susan's
still had
point, you
movies
think it
after
is?
May of 2016, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you would
Not
agree
the
that there
point
was
you think it
negative
is.
publicity about Mr. Depp being publicly drunk before the op-ed, correct?
There was, I agree with the proposition that there was negative publicity before the op-ed. The op-ed was something different.
And you'd agree that there is an article in Business Insider from 2015 that says Johnny Depp has his 5th box office bomb in a row.
If that's what it said, it said. Are you just going to keep reading this?
Well, I mean, this is Mr. Depp's reputation. That's what you're talking about in terms of Hollywood, correct?
Torching.
And in 2016, December of 2016, there's an article that says, quote, Johnny Depp is Hollywood's most overpaid actor for the 2nd year in a row. Did you recall reading that?
I don't know, was that written by the second underpaid actor? Or
And you
who
would
was
agree
written by?
that before the op-ed, there was negative publicity for Mr. Depp about assassinating President Trump. Would you agree?
No, I missed that one.
You didn't see an article in the New York Times that said Johnny Depp flirts with idea of Trump assassination, then apologizes?
Again,
Did you
Johnny
read it or
Depp
not?
talks with irony and panache, and I don't particularly remember that. I have a lot of stuff in front of me.
Disney wouldn't want to be involved with somebody who's calling for the assassination of the president, would it?
Actually, that probably
I'm
goes
sure
right on
after
your
those
resume line.
articles, Johnny Depp was involved in a major studio project. Again, you'd have to show me a timeline, but I'll take your word that there were articles written in various rags or trade public.
Is the New York Times a rag? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not
Yes.
saying the New York Times is a rag. What I'm saying is, at the height of the Me Too movement, we have this op-ed directed at Hollywood, and in the Hollywood I know, the rest of the stuff is background noise.
Now, and Pirates 5 did not make as much money in the box office as the prior Pirates movies did. Isn't that true?
That's true. It only made about $800 million.
It made less though than the first four, correct?
Yeah, and any
Okay.
company would want to have a box office hit that made $800 million.
Now okay. And do you recognize this article from Dan Wooten that says, "How can J.K. Rowling be genuinely happy casting wife beater Johnny Depp in the new Fantastic Beasts film?"
Yes, this article is in the UK Sun, which came to prominence by publishing topless women on page 3.
And the article came out on April 27th, 2018, correct?
I haven't skimmed through this, but I'll take your word for it.
And
It's
I think what you're trying to say was that the Sun was a rag, so no one would pay any attention to it. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying the Sun is the Sun, and it's in the UK. And what this article is repeating stuff from 2016, repeating all the stuff that you might say should be all past history after the divorce. It's one Wooten's opinion in a newspaper that's claimed to fame as page 3 women topless, and yeah.
And
it's
Mr.
in the-
Depp
and it's
sued
in the
Mr.
UK,
Depp
you know,
sued the Sun over this, right?
What's that?
Mr. Depp sued the Sun in the UK about this article, right?
As far as I know, he wanted to clear his name. That's right.
And Mr. Depp, that lawsuit occurred in 2020, correct? It was tried in 2020.
I believe so. Yeah.
And there were accusations of abuse that came out based on that lawsuit, correct?
As far as I know, the accusations were all old news and predated much. Yeah, I mean, this is a 2018 article, and in 2020, they probably were rehashing it.
And the old news that was coming out in 2018, that would also affect Mr. Depp's reputation, correct?
Again, I've tried to draw a line, the line that Hollywood draws between the Me Too movement and starting in 2017 and the gossip and the claims back and forth. I mean, there was also press about Amber Heard being an abuser in those years. There was also the other side of the coin.
But the op-ed that didn't mention Mr. Depp at all and didn't mention any accusations that what happened to her, that's what caused Mr. Depp all his reputational harm. That's what you're saying?
Well, I don't agree that this article was not about.
Did it mention Mr. Depp? That's what I asked you.
Well, does she have another husband who abused her?
But did it talk about it? Did it talk at all about Mr. Depp's abuse?
Objection, Your Honor. He's tried to answer the first question, which was not exactly what the second question was that he re-asked. I'd asked him to be permitted to finish.
Ask your question. We'll go.
The op-ed article didn't mention
torched.
any specific abuse by Mr. Depp towards Amber Heard, correct?
The only name is this is Amber Heard telling her story that started in 2016 when she was domestically abused and ignored.
Now, there were headlines about the UK trial, correct?
I'm sure there were, yes.
Like, "Let's burn Amber" text allegedly sent by Johnny Depp about ex-Read in court.
I didn't hear you.
Let's burn Amber text allegedly sent by Johnny Depp about X read in court.
Yeah.
And there's a headline from July 19th, 2020 that said, quote, Hollywood nervously awaits fallout from explosive Johnny Depp trial. So Hollywood was following the case, correct?
Yeah. When was that headline?
In 2020.
2020. Yeah, look, Johnny Depp is a decades-long fixture in Hollywood, and people were following something across the pond. You know, we thought we kind of got rid of the UK in 1776, but they were still following it. Absolutely.
This guy is getting absolutely torched on Cross, and by this guy I mean
This guy is like what I think of like as an entertainment lawyer, a ball-busting asshole. He's just he's not taking any shit on Cross. It's impressive. And I like how his experiences when Me Too happened to one of his clients, he was the hatchet man for that. He got rid of Kevin Spacey.
Yep.
I mean, that's not just him commenting from the sidelines. He's like, I was doing the dirty work, taking orders.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
He is like this lawyer may think he's getting this guy a little flustered or whatever and think he's doing okay. He might not realize he is getting absolutely spit roasted by this dude with these answers. He is
spit roasted. This is a snuff film, dude. This is bad.
He has linked everything directly to this article.
Mm-hmm.
He said all these other articles, yeah, they're there. They didn't matter. None of it mattered. This one did, because this one was in the Washington Post, directed to the industry. It was aimed to get Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was for, and it was using the most effective tool, the only tool that works.
Mm-hmm.
And do these guys honestly think that the jury believes that any production studio cares that an actor is drinking or doing drugs? Like, have they not been alive? Have they not been alive for the past 40 years at least?
Yes.
I mean,
yes, this isn't Mormon Pictures we're dealing with.
Right. It's crazy that that they keep on with this line of logic. Like, well, you think Disney would want to hire someone who you already said, like, they hired Robin Williams.
Yes. He smokes the demon lettuce. We can't have him in the family videos. Yeah, well, that's all they've got. That's all they've got left. But yeah, he is literally setting fire to the rest of Amber's case.
And yes or no, did Mr. Depp clear his name through that lawsuit?
I wasn't in the UK, and I'm not going to opine on that. That's not what I've been engaged to talk about.
You don't know one way or the other whether Mr. Depp cleared his name through that lawsuit?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Outside the scope of his expert opinion, cares about Hollywood, not the UK. Brilliant answer by this witness, by the way. He made the objection for the team.
Put up,
This is an experienced attorney putting in work.
and you see this is from November 5th.
These lawyers are
2020.
playing dumb.
Yes.
Where is this from? Some rogue website?
Just like people going in front of Congress, they have plausible deniability at that point.
InsideTheMagic.com.
Okay.
Okay, and this says Disney reportedly scraps plans for Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean 6 return, and that was on November 5th, 2020, correct?
So it's a tabloid rag.
Assuming that this is a correct copy of this random website, that's what it says. They're not quoting the head of production. It's not a statement by Disney, but that's what this.
Oh God, they're just letting him run.
Woman,
He's
Rebecca
just shredding
Barker
that.
says.
Well, 2 years after the op-ed, it was still a question as to whether Mr. Depp was going to be in Pirates
Richard
6.
Marx is now controlling Cross.
Yeah.
There was no contract for Mr. Depp to be in Pirates 6, but he was Pirates, and there would always be that question until Pirates is produced or until Disney says otherwise.
And November 2020 was at the same time as all the publicity surrounding the UK case, correct?
I think the UK judgment came out in November 2020.
And this article came out 3 days after the judgment, correct?
This random
If
publication
the
on a random
judgment
website.
came out on the 2nd. This is 3 days later in what's this again? Moviemagic.com.
Correct.
By Rebecca, Barton.
Big
Oh,
leaguer.
Your Honor.
All right.
He's calling out everybody.
He's just saying, I have no. What is
Yeah.
this?
Who is this chick? Yeah.
This is like Mike Zero reporting on Star Wars. This is
Yes.
a random person with no
just some
connection
guy.
speculating on some website that nobody has heard of in Hollywood. Like, who is this? Who's
Yeah.
Rebecca Barton?
All right, thank you. I have nothing.
All right, redirect.
And you let him answer that. That's amazing.
Yeah. But I still don't get why it's the sustained by Johnny.
You were
We're not
asked
worried
a
about Amber's
series of
career right this
questions
second.
About a number of
So I don't know-
publications and
I don't know why that was
publicity
relevant.
related to Mr. Depp by Mr. Nadelhoff. Do you recall those questions?
He asked a lot of questions about a lot of articles.
And sir, based on your experience in the entertainment industry, do you have an understanding of what types of publications carry the most weight in Hollywood?
The publications that carry the most weight in Hollywood,
Variety.
in my opinion, after all these decades, are Variety, Hollywood Reporter,
Vanity Fair.
Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Those are the publications.
And Mr. Nadelhoff asked you a number of questions about certain headlines related to Mr. Depp and various news coverage related to Mr. Depp. Do you have an opinion about the impact of those articles that you looked at with Mr. Nadelhoff on cross-examination on Mr. Depp's reputation in Hollywood?
Again, I don't remember all the articles, but what I do know is that Johnny Depp had always had articles about him, and that didn't change the baseline. If you had a big project and it had a role for Johnny Depp, that didn't change the baseline.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further
All right,
questions.
is this witness subject to recall?
He is, Your Honor.
Yes.
All right, sir, since you're subject to recall, the rule of
Yes.
witness does apply for you, so you cannot discuss your testimony.
This dude's an
Do not,
assassin. You want
watch
him on.
it.
You want him on
Okay,
hand.
Okay, sir? But you're free to go today, sir. Okay, thank you. All right, watch your step.
I mean, this guy just pissed gasoline all
Alright,
over her
next
case and lit it on fire.
God.
So pour out an art bag about more of the frog. Spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear lost